Hey guys, another video for our Castles and Old Buildings in Japan playlist. We found ourselves walking around this little old town, saw some interesting buildings we thought you guys might be interested in. This is an old house, and this here is a kura. So it's one of those storehouses that some of you would know. We love these things. We're always trying to find new kura to film, or old kura to film, and that's a classic. That kura, that storehouse, and the house that it's attached to, really nice. They're in really original condition, but have been really well maintained, which is the perfect combination. If you can find a well maintained original old house, they're the most beautiful thing, aren't they? This is an interesting thing too. Usually if you see big old gnarly trees like this, usually they're in the grounds of a temple or a shrine. It's very, very unusual just to find one randomly like this. It's actually in the garden of a house. And it's really rare because most of the old timber over the years has been harvested and used for furniture or houses or something. So to find a big gnarly old tree like that just in somebody's garden is really rare. So probably the reason for lots of this oldness is this little town is really close to an old castle, and quite often in the areas directly around old castles you often find lots of original old houses like this. This is an old shop. Have a look at this in the window. That's their little tobacco display there, and it's still got packets of cigarettes in there. Yuck, they'd be stale. So lots of original, very tiny little streets and lots of really original buildings. This one actually belongs to an old timber mill, and you'd imagine it must have been a timber mill for a long, long time because really old buildings still operating. There's freshly cut timber there, but just really interesting, classic old buildings, really well maintained. It requires a bit of luck for these buildings to have stayed in the family and for the family to have stayed well off enough to maintain the buildings. That seems to be the key. If you have a building like this that's been in the family for a lot of generations and all those generations had enough money to maintain the building, then you can get one in this sort of condition. Have a look at the roughness of the timber. Usually in Japan when they cut timber they try to keep it as close to the original piece of uncut wood as possible because they feel that that's where it has the most strength. So quite often you'll find timber that's cut like that in Japan, so it still has the knots and the lumpy bits that it would have had in the original tree. So that's the outside wall of that same building. Great little area it was. Anyway, hopefully someone found that interesting. More videos coming soon.